No, Kyle, we're not gonna get into this stupid argument again. You're not the best skeleton. If anything, you're probably one of the worst skeletons I know. Well, what did I say about using that type of language? Kyle! Stop! Oh my god, you wanna act like that? Fine! Since you wanna act like you're the best skeleton even though you're nothing more than an elephant, I'm gonna beat some random game of skeletons are involved just to prove that you're not the best skeleton, and I have just the game in mind. Oh my god, shut up!
Mega Man 4 is the fourth Mega Man game on the NES, and takes place exactly 1 year after Mega Man 3. Mega Man 4 came out on December 1991 in Japan, January 1992 in America, and January 1993 in Europe. Unlike Mega Man 3, Mega Man 4's development had very few problems, and it even got over 70,000 character submissions. The final 8 were just about perfect with almost no changes added to their illustrations. And Skullman in particular impressed Capcom so much that they scrapped an entire level just so they could make one for Skullman.
Yeah, you're not gonna see anyone doing that for you little brat.
8 of the winners of the design contest got a special golden cartridge of Mega Man 4, and since there's only 8 in the world, they are incredibly rare and incredibly expensive. But nothing is stopping you from painting a regular cartridge gold. Hell, replace the sticker and antagonist from something like the Adventure of Link with Mega Man 4's, and bam! Now you're a winner of a design contest! The OST was composed by Manai Fuji, while the sound effects and sound programming were done by Yasuaki Fujita, who composed the Mega Man 3 OST. Mega Man 4 received positive reviews, with Nintendo Power, Nintendo Magazine System, and Total all saying that Mega Man 4 had high quality graphics, sound, and gameplay, but they also noted that there was very little improvement over the previous 3 entries. GamePro, on the other hand, was fine with the lack of change. Mega Man 4 managed to land itself a spot in IGN's top 100 NES games, or as I know it, ideas for future Danspection. Lucas Thomas stated that by itself, it's a great NES game, but it isn't any better than Mega Man 3. Mega Man 4 is also seen as a turning point in quality for the Mega Man series, but likely due to the popularity of the SNES, it was beginning to deteriorate. Man, if only there was some letter some rich guy has a hyperfixation over to help the quality of the series grow. Sigh. Jeremy Parish proclaimed that this is where the series started to go off the rails, claiming that the plot twist in the game was silly, that the music sucked, and the bosses and weapons were all uninspired, but did think the fact that we can charge Mega Buster was now game-breaking. Lucas Thomas, however, thinks that disrupted the balance of the game, and rendered many of the weapons useless. Even though, you know, nothing is stopping you from not charging it. Hell, I didn't realize you could do that until I was deep into my first playthrough. Let's take a look at the cover. Oh god damn it, the sky is yellow again. And oh my god, look out, Pharaoh Man! That planet is gonna crash into you! Speaking of Pharaoh Man, he doesn't even look like he's gonna hit Mega Man, and Mega Man looks weird. Really weird. Like his face is mirrored and he's actually the troll face in disguise. We can't even save $10 on Mega Man games anymore.
I'm broke!
Let's see the back of the box. Maybe that can help me here. Russian robots, Dr. Cossack, Siberia? Huh. Weird, But it looks like we now have bigger and better enemies, with a, quote, cybernetic showdown as the streets of the city erupt with the sizzling sounds of molten metal. And with the new Mega Buster, we're gonna run, jump, and dodge our way through mazes of metallic munchkins to stop Dr. Cossack in his Siberian citadel.
Huh. Reminds me of Half-Life 2. Yeah, the back of the box doesn't really help do much other than entice you to get the game. But there is the manual, which you have to own the game to get, but my point still stands.
Oh, this is the stuff, baby. Before the events of Mega Man 4, Dr. Light got a message from Dr. Cossack, who is upset that Dr. Light is hailed as the greatest robot designer in the world where he's been ignored. So, from his Siberian citadel, he sent 8 of his most powerful robots to obliterate Mega Man. Then, after that's done, he'll take the place as the greatest robot designer of all time. Oh, you know, the ultimate robot designer that works too. Oh, at least you can forge a signature. Thanks, Dr. Cossack. Apparently, there's 2 new items, the balloon adapter and the wire adapter. The former is similar to item 1 from Mega Man 2, and the latter lets us hang from a ledge or ceiling. However, I don't like this. They're entirely optional, and I have some opinions about the balloon adapter and wire adapter that I'll get into later.
No, it's not a skill issue, just hold on. There we go. Now I can finally get into the game without you interrupting me.
There's also this new character, Eddie, aka Flip Flop. Eddie will wait in certain stages, those being Ring Man, Dust Man, Skull Man, and Dive Man stage. He has Dr. Light's cybernetic suitcase, and when we see him, we can go up to him, and he'll give us a power capsule, weapon energy, life, or eating before going back to Dr. Light. And we can play the stage again to get the adapters, but we don't have to refight the robot masters. In the beginning, there was nothing more than a Mega Man. The game's intro goes over the backstory of how Rock became Mega Man, before then leading us into the events after Mega Man 3. Sometime in 2000X, Rock and Roll were created by Dr. Light, until all of a sudden, robots all over the world went on a rampage, and the entire world was in total chaos. Dr. Light quickly realized that Dr. Wily was behind this, but didn't know what to do. Rock, however, offered himself to be turned into a fighting robot, and thus, Mega Man was created. 3 times now, Dr. Wily's plans were shattered, and after the 3rd time, world peace was maintained for 365 days. But now, Dr. Cossack, a mysterious scientist, sent 8 of his robots after Mega Man. Wash, rinse, repeat, all that jazz. I actually really like the song that plays on the title screen. It's really good. And what's even better is that we can skip the intro. It's a bit long, but it's pretty good in my opinion. This time, we have to fight Ring Man, Dive Man, Skull Man.
He's already gonna be better than you.
Pharaoh Man, Bright Man, Toad Man, Drill Man, and Dust Man. Oh, fuck, the black ball is still here. Everybody run! After selecting a Robot Master, the Mega Man 2 tune that plays when you select a Robot Master plays. The background also has the same color palette as the Robot Master, so Dive Man, for example, has 2 shades of blue, closer to aqua, and Toad Man has lime green and neon yellow. Before I get into the game though, I quickly want to talk about the new weapon, the new Mega Buster. The new Mega Buster lets us charge the Mega Buster for more powerful shots. The first charge is even bigger, does the same damage, and whips for enemies. And the second shot is even bigger and does 3 times the damage. I really like the new Mega Buster. It's the game's main gimmick and helps break the whole single shot thing with the Mega Buster. But it really doesn't feel like most enemies are designed around charging the Mega Buster, and if they are, there isn't any visual indication besides one enemy.
Like, I mean, that's just the obvious thing to do since Anywhere Health doesn't do much for the gimmick, but whatever, let's just get on with the game.
Oh my god, it's raining! And those flying penguins and this thing. Toad Man's stage takes place on a dam, then later, in the sewers. And as we can see, it's raining, which makes jumping hard since it pushes you to the left while you're in the air. And in the sewers section of the level, there's rushing water that weighs you down. It slows you down, and pushes you left or right depending on where you are. The water can also hide items in it. See, you wouldn't know that was there under normal circumstances. The enemies here are the Swollen, Co-Swollen, Rakasur, Raton, Boyan, Eskaroo, and Gyatok. And speaking of Eskaroo, here it is! The Eskaroo is a giant snail that acts as a mid-boss. When its eyes are open like this, we can hit it, but if they're closed, it throws a few bombs at us, or its eyes try to hit us. I think he can be an annoying boss, but charging the Mega Buster is a huge help in this fight. And this area here is why I think it can be an annoying mid-boss. Unlike the last time when we fought the Eskaroo, this time we have to deal with all of this water, ew, yuck. I also just really don't like how short the duration between the first and second fight with both Eskaroos are. Like, it's only about 30 seconds of the stage before the second boss fight, but assuming you don't fall off and die, it's not that much longer before you get to the boss fight. Toad Man is a very simple boss with a very simple game plan. Jump around the arena, do your belly dance, make acid rain that hurts Mega Man, repeat. Although, by spamming your shots at him, you can hit him when he lands, meaning he'll then jump again, and you can repeat this until he gets defeated for the first time. After defeating Toad Man, we get the Rain Flash, which lets us make acid rain without dancing. And we also get the Rush Marine, which makes sense because, well, look at all of the water in the stage. I think Toad Man's stage is, well, not challenging, but the rain in the beginning is incredibly annoying at times since you have to really time your jumps. Although the theme of a dam and sewer system and the water being instructive does help make this stage unique. I like it, but I'm not really looking forward to it or dreading it.
Brightman's stage is shocking. Cannot reuse that joke.
It takes place inside a lighting control system. As such, it's full of electric grids that are on walls and floors. The color palette is also very nice, I really like it. A nice light red with a harsher blue background. The enemies here we have are Dampon, 101, Totem Polem, Batan, Gachapon, and Minnowan. We actually start off with the lights on, lights off gimmick, which makes it the third time it's been in a Mega Man game. But this time, we can optionally turn the lights off by not destroying the 101, but if we do destroy it, it will be pitch black besides you and the enemies, and if we destroy the dump pun, the lights will turn back on, as they light the area with the fireworks. How fun. Both are optional, but I don't like how it's done here, since we can't see. Meanwhile, in Mega Man 3, we can still get a hint about it for moving. It is very nice though to have it all be optional. At most, we just have to deal with the 101 doing its attack. A fair jump followed by a gamer over and 2 more fair jumps. Here we can see an area that lets us attempt to get an E-tank and a life. But we'll have to risk a life in order to continue on with the game. Some real basic risk to reward going on. But this is maybe a touch pointless since we keep our stuff if we die. Besides the life, obviously. We can however use the rush core to make them easier, and even though realistically this is probably what they intended for you to do, doing it without the rush coil feels necessary to mention since someone, me, probably wouldn't think to use the rush coil here. 2 failed jumps later, a game over, and 1 more failed jump, we see what is probably my favorite section in the game. There are tons and tons of 100 Wattens, meaning that this stage is going to more than likely be dark. And when it's dark, the jumps are probably 10 times harder, and since the 100 Wattens are just doing their usual attack, you might get hit off the rails. It all works so well, it's just perfect! Here we are at the boss fight with Bright Man. He jumps on before shooting a few shots of Phoenix towards you, which he always does, but sometimes he freezes you in place, shoots at you, and then jumps on you. But using the Rain Flesh, he is an incredibly easy boss, unless if you are on low health, in which case just use an E-tank. After defeating Bright Man, we get the Flash Stopper, which lets us freeze enemies and then shoot at them like it's any other day. In my opinion, this is kinda like Flashman's weapon in Mega Man 2, but, well, now you have to do all of the work. And you know, I can see what the baby boomers and Gen X were saying about Gen Z, like me, being too lazy to work. This game still has you work to defeat your enemies, but modern games, like Mario Kart 8/8 Deluxe for example, let you play the entire game without ever needing to be in the room.
Yeah, I'm still here though.
Wow, the concept of making a ruler of ancient Egypt a robot master? What's next? President Man? Yeah, that joke fucking sucked. What is wrong with me today? Pharaoh Man's age takes place outside an Egyptian pyramid during the night, with multicolored flashing stars, before having to go inside the ruins. But if we skip this hole, we can get the balloon adapter. The enemies here are Sasarenu, Heihei, Batudtun, Hover, Mamiera, and Takentento.
Okay, here we go. It's just an item in a video game, you can talk about it.
Oh my god, the path to the balloon adapter is so stupid. There's zero indication we can go right, and any other time we could jump up a holes like this one Gemini Man stage and Dustman stage for example. There wasn't even anything there, and we couldn't even go right either. And sure, getting it lets us skip some of the stage, but it's only a very small section of the stage, and it's entirely optional. Hell, I missed it on my first playthrough because it wasn't obvious, and I only got the wire adapter by accident, but the hole to get it in Dive Man stage also has no indication we can go down without dying, and when we get the adapter, it sends us back to before we got the adapter. At the very least, we can replay the Robin Masters stages, meaning we can look for the 2 adapters, but again, no indication! And they're both just so incredibly useless. Like, what the hell is even the point? If you're gonna make a gimmick, stick to it and find ways to include it. Don't just leave it to collect dust, because then Dustman stage would be full of gimmicks, and a little goes a lot! We then come across some hovels, and to be honest, I think they're unique enemies. Helpful, but still a threat. I like that. I just wish we got more of them. Alright, finally the boss fight with Pharaoh Man. He jumps from towards you, a short jump then a high jump, before doing a random attack. At the height of his jump, he shoots a little Pharaoh shot, and if you fall away he kinda might jump all the way before attacking with a little Pharaoh shot. He may jump onto you but won't throw anything, and he'll charge himself by pointing up into the air, before shooting a powerful Pharaoh wave. He's gonna more than likely do the last one if you stay close, but it gets predictable, meaning you can dodge it consistently. Using the Flash Stopper, Pharaoh Man gets frozen in place, before, with the right timing, you can spam your shots in the Pharaoh Man, sometimes doing it before he gets any attacks in, which I like, but I think it makes the fight way too easy. There's almost no effort besides just pressing a turbo button if you have one. After defeating Pharaoh Man, we can use the Pharaoh Shot, which is similar to the new Mega Buster, as it's the only other weapon that can be charged, and this one charges by using the sun, but also weapon energy. Odd. Whatever, solar power is cool. Ringman stage immediately tries to make you fall via a rainbow platform, but if you're fast enough, you won't fall. Obviously. The stage actually has two platforms, a rainbow one and a coil one. They both try to make you fall when you stand in them, and this is a really sudden but good way to introduce the gimmick, and let you figure out how it works, Wall Blaster aside. Speaking of, the enemies in this stage are the Wall Blaster, Ring Ring, Garyobi, and Roto. The Ring Ring are really cute, and they look like living sounds. I really like them. Ringman's entire stage is framed around a glass-framed space simulator. The full section with bright blue skies until the mid-boss, which there are 4 of in this stage, is revealed where the sky then goes black, showing faint stars that get brighter and more frequent, showing planets, and even a shower of shooting stars before fighting Ringman. Later on in the level, we encounter the first mid-boss, the Kappa-Dunkere. It's a giant hippopotamus that lands on this platform. If we shoot the pillar the platform is on, the platform goes down, and when the platform is low enough, we can hit the hippo. But we also need to dodge these heat-seeking rockets. However, using the Rain Flush makes the mid-boss very easy, since the Rain Flush affects every enemy possible on screen. Exactly 1 minute later, we end up at the next mid-boss, the Whopper. Sadly, it is not a hamburger from a restaurant that would probably drop some balls in the competition. The rings of the Whopper shoot out in 6 separate directions. While they're not blocking its eyes, we have to hit them. Using the Flash Hopper makes this insanely easy because it freezes the rings. I just don't like how soon it is after the first mid-boss fight, and right below it, we refight the Kappa-Dunkere again. Really? We literally just fought it a minute ago.
I mean, I'm the one who has to deal with a skeleton violating every TRS in existence, and even he doesn't bring up the same tired violations back to back.
Thankfully though, after refining it, we meet Eddie by going up this specific ladder. He then gives us something really useful, so it's at least worth fighting the giant hippo. I honestly really like Eddie. He's a really nice character and I think his addition helps the game not be overly impossible. And since what he gives you is random, it's not overly easy as he may give you a power capsule or weapon energy when you don't need it either. And now, finally, we're dancing with the coil platforms, and see that they're the exact opposite of the rainbow platforms. Those went from left to right, and these go from right to left, and this section has us go right, while the previous section had us go up. It's a complete 180 from how the stage started off, and I really like that. The transition is very smooth and doesn't feel sudden. At the fourth and final mid-boss fight in this stage, it's actually a bit different from the last time, because now the Whopper is facing left, and there's less space than before.
But, to be honest, the mid-boss fights were really, how do I put this? Pointless.
Don't get me wrong, I understand adding and changing stuff to make it more challenging, but after a while you need to take a look back on what you added to see if it was a good addition, and I think in the case of mid-bosses, it only works if there's 1, maybe 2 if the time is right, but not 4. 2 being back-to-back and 2 being basically identical to each other, it just feels tedious to refight them again, even if the last Whopper serves as a guard to Ringman. And speaking of Ringman, here's his boss fight. Ringman is a very... He'll throw his ring boomerang, as it then flies around before rushing to the player, maybe hitting them, then returning to Ringman. He'll then jump and throw another ring boomerang. When he lands, he then goes over to the player, overshooting it as he does, before repeating, if he gets shot, which he has to, he throws a ring boomerang mid-run. He is also... fast, which makes fighting him difficult. Thankfully, with the Pharaoh shot, it can be fully charged, which makes the boss fight easier, but not that much easier, sadly. I don't like fighting Ringman. It's not like I dread it, but I think out of every boss in this game, Ringman is probably my least favorite. He's just too difficult for me to fight at this time. At the very least, every time I manage to get here, I have an E-Tank, so fighting him is doable. But yeah, Ringman. Woo! Thankfully, after defeating him though, we get the ring boomerang, which lets us shoot a ring in a straight line before it comes back to us. Dustman's stage is... That's not dust. Hold on. Oh, what? Okay, his stage is in a scrap depot. Uh-huh. I guess that makes sense at all with the conveyor belts in the background, even though they look more like chainsaws, but that's just me. Dustman Stage has 6 enemies: the shielded tackle, the up and down, the jump big, the talk and toe, the gachapon, and the metal EX. The metal EX is actually 3 separate metals. This one spins, shooting 3 shots in a row, this one walks, and this one jumps. There's also this 4th metal called the Metal Swim, but they're not a part of the metal grouping in this game for some reason, so we'll hear more about them later. So despite the apparent false advertising from Dustman Stage, it's actually a pretty cool one. Like, later on in the stage we have this gimmick of Precious trying to crush us into a cube, like that one scene from Monsters Inc. Yeah, that one. There's various metals, blocks we need to destroy to get past, and even lower down presses, all thrown together so that way this section doesn't feel too stale or boring, and because it's so short-lived, it feels a bit longer than it actually is since there's variety. That's also all life felt like bringing up before the boss fight with Dustman. Dustman, unlike Ringman, is a very easy boss. His attacks are random and slow, the main one being to shoot a Dust Crusher, which is just some scrap that goes over to the player in a straight line, then splitting into 4 pieces when it's in the same X position as you. After splitting, the 4 smaller pieces fly away in a diagonal path. If he doesn't do that, Dustman will try to suck you into his vacuum. Dustman also jumps very high, but with using the Ring Boomerang, you can stop him from getting the final buzzer shot and winning the away game. No, how did my script for a review of Space Jam for the PS1 get in here? Anyways, but with using the Ring Boomerang, and hitting him while he isn't using his vacuum since he can't be hit then, the fight is relatively easy. After defeating Ringman, we get the Dust Crusher, which lets us shoot piles and piles of scrap just like Dustman did. Look at it go! Woo!
Shut it, you wanna be John Wilkes Booth!
Skullman's stage takes place in giant canyons and buttes, and is outlined with bones and fossils everywhere. Now, unlike Dustman's stage, Skullman's stage doesn't really have a gimmick. Although, hot take, I think the gimmick is bone. This stage is also a bit more generous with E-Tanks than the rest of the game. I imagine Capcom probably thought this was going to be an insanely difficult level. The enemies here are Super Ball Machine Jr., Tokihiro, Skeleton Joe, Shielded Tackle, Skullman, Imworm, and Batad Ton. Unsurprisingly, we're gonna have enemies that fit the skeleton theme, although I think we have too few skeleton-themed enemies. At least they make up for it by having Skeleton Joes everywhere. A bit into the level we see this weird giant empty space we see after climbing up. If we go right we see a ton of paths, each with shield attackers on them. If we go down the top one we get a big power capsule, and if we go down the second to the top one we get an E-Tank. However, we then have to go back, fighting through the shield attackers. Even though this is more risk versus reward, and easy risk versus reward too since fighting shield attackers is impossible, I like this, since it's always welcome to see how all E-Tanks in this game. Failing a jump later, we are then greeted with Skullman himself.
Kyle, what you're about to witness is the reason you're at 10 in my top 10 list of skeletons. I mean, hell, I only put you on there to be nice anyways.
Everything Skullman does is random, as it is dictated by what you, the player, do. He starts standing still, waiting for you to do something. If you move while he isn't, he aims and fires his buster 3 times at you. If you shoot while he isn't moving, he jumps high or low depending on the distance you both have. After landing, he brings up his skull barrier. While it doesn't do any damage, Skullman still does hurt you, don't touch him. It does make him invincible. After it disappears, Skullman runs towards the player and stops when he's at your position. If he does the same attack twice, he ends up doing the other attack pattern. Even though the Dust Crusher makes him in an easier situation to deal with, Skullman is still an insanely complex boss. I just love it.
And you see that, Kyle? That is what being a good skeleton is like. Hell, even the skeletons in Minecraft are better than you. What does CRT theory have to do with any of this? And why are you saying it's a good thing? Okay, you and I both know that doesn't make any sense. Everyone has a white skeleton. What the hell does a hip replacement have to do with proving a point? After defeating at least one skeleton-themed boss, we get the Skull Berry from Skullman, which is just a shield. But we can at least move when it's up, which is mega helpful in fighting Dive Man.
If I had a nickel for every time there was a water-themed Mega Man Robot Master, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. And no, Gemini Man doesn't count as stage as a planet. The enemies here are Garyobi, Kyoto, Metal Swim, see now we're talking about this one, M422A, Moby, Jumbig, Mantan, and Sea Mines. Dive Man stage is actually really pretty. I really like the use of the aquamarine here. What I don't like, however, is the Moby, which, as you can see, is a giant whale that shoots out missiles that follow you, and also shoots out sea mines that then go down. Now, on paper that's fine, but you end up getting pulled toward the Moby when it does the sea mines attack. So that means dodging them is going to be overly difficult for no reason. At the very least, with the Flash Chopper, we can avoid this, but it's just such a ridiculous mid-boss fight. Thankfully, sometime later, we come across this new fun, refreshing gimmick where the water goes up and down. It can be a little annoying at times, but it's honestly a fun way to shake the level up while keeping with the theme of the level, since in real life, the ocean tides go in and out. Combine the gimmick with all of the various M422As and Mantons, and the gimmick isn't just for show and is actually something we need to work with to avoid the enemies not die.
You are dead! Not a big surprise!
After dealing with fucking shit, fuck you go fuck off, we can go down this hole which looks like sudden death, but it actually leads you to the second and final adapter, the wire adapter. I think getting this one is maybe a touch better, but it's so insanely not obvious that it has a wire adapter. Unlike the previous adapter, we don't even get to skip some of the stage. I already ranted about why I think they're useless, so here's that paragraph again, but now on screen and in text. You done reading? Good. Dive Man is honestly a challengingly fun boss fight. He starts by shooting 2 dive missiles that hunt you down, but defeating him is really, if anything, 1-to-1 with Toadman, since we hit him with a skull barrier, jump over him, and then we repeat that until he dies, or if you run out of weapon energy for the skull barrier. Cause if that happens, then Dive Man goes from an easy-ish boss fight to an annoyingly awful boss. After defeating Dive Man, we get the dive missile, which lets us shoot at a couple of dive missiles. Wow, who could have seen that coming? Drillman Siege takes place in an underground ore mine. It is focused mainly on the level's combat until much later in the final room of fuck. How neat we can make terrain. The enemies here are the Takentanto, Metal EX, Jumbig, Batatan, Pakato 24, and Monorodo. Okay, I'm stalling. I fucking hate the boulder dispensers!
I don't feel better, Kyle. I need to vent.
Me saying fuck 8 times isn't an accident. It's on purpose, because that's how many boulder dispensers there are. As a gimmick, they're fine, I guess, but as a hazard, they can go corrupt their own lines of code. If a boulder falls and makes more, fine, whatever. But give us a second before they respawn, Capcom! I have no earthly idea why, but for some reason, back when the boulder dispensers were being coded, Capcom decided to have it be instant. So that means if you try to run, rock, slide, or do nothing, you will end up getting hit by a big boulder or the smaller pebbles afterwards. And I know you're commenting right now, just use an item like the Pharaoh Shot or Flash Chopper, and hey, look at the gameplay! Flash Chopper is in action! But I don't like that the Edo Sense, you end up skipping most of the gameplay besides a few jumps, and that isn't gameplay, it's honestly pressing the A button a couple of times. Oh, and the generating terrain part of this section, it isn't even that impressive since you just end up hitting the levels to have the terrain show up anyways. This entire section is just so pointless. I know back when I talked about Mega Man 3, I mentioned how I didn't like the top spin since I didn't, and still don't know how to use it without taking damage. But at least that's optional for most of the game, but with the boulder dispensers, they are a required part of the game! No matter which way you slice it, deal with it, or freeze your problems, this entire section is like buying a really bad car and just dealing with its problems, or buying a new car without doing anything about the really bad car you just bought. Whatever, I hate this part. I hate everything about it. We all get the memo. The boss fight with Drillman is... It's not really challenging, but it's also not handed to you. He drills on the ground before popping up, trying to pop up underneath you, then shooting Chujos at you, although they kind of act like bombs. Throwing the dive missile and dodging is kinda all you can do since the boss fight is just jumping and waiting. But hey, it's kind of fun. Kinda. After defeating Drillman, we get the drill bomb, which lets us shoot one single drill bomb, but if we press the B button while the drill bomb is mid-air, it explodes. Oh. And we also get the rush jet, so that's great.
Okay, so you see, Kyle, in Mega Man 3 we had to fight this guy called Dark Robot 8 times, and then this guy called Breakman, so I'm interested in seeing what Mega Man 4 does to shake things up. Oh shit, it's the guy from the intro.
So, after defeating the 8 robot masters, we then get to take on Dr. Cossack in his citadel / castle. This part of the game is formatted just like the Dr. Wily wrote for Mega Man 3. But it's also kind of like the Dark Robot section from Mega Man 3 also, just not refining the robot masters from the previous game. Oh, and we get new stages too. Speaking of new, the new enemies in these 4 stages are the Ladder Press, the Folk Block, Brewery, Darkron, and the Cossack platform. I don't know why Capcom didn't do this, but the Darkron would have been a 10 out of 10 fit in Skullman stage. Like, it's literally skull-shaped. Put the worms here, damn it! The stages here are all fine and stand out, but they feel a bit easier than they need to be, especially since we're like an hour into the game. I do, however, like the variety. Ice, the general endgame material, auto-scroller, and space, but not for long. It breaks things up, which is nice to see. The first Dr. Cossack stage is outside of a citadel in a snowy forest and starts with the game's ice stage. The snow slows you down, which I find annoying, but it makes sense. Well, it's snow. Only some Yaoi would actually find snow levels life-changing.
Why did I just get the weird feeling that someone on Earth hates snow levels?
Later when you're climbing up the citadel, however, there's a bunch of ice you can slip and slide on. Another detail I like is that when the stage starts it's day, but later it ends up being nighttime. Okay, wow, the Half-Life references are shocking. A day-night cycle too? What's next? Taking 4 years to fix a bot crisis?
No.
Marfreya is the level's boss, and we have to hit this red dot in the middle, which is its weak point. Using the ring boomerang, it isn't impossible, since it ends up attacking us / the floor every 2 seconds, but it destroys the floor as it does, meaning you can fall into the void and die. Aiming is also a bit tricky since the red dot is small, but it's not impossible. The second stage in Dr. Cossack's Road is the main halls of the Citadel, with several windows to show that it's snowing outside. Baby, it's cold outside, leave, and let me do a crime.
Why am I referencing Baby It's Cold Outside? It's January, Christmas is over.
These folk blocks are kinda annoying, but to get here we need to use the rush jet because of these spikes. And I only bring this up because they changed how the rush jet works, because now you can jump off of rush. Nifty. The screw machine is a giant screw made up of smaller screws, and made up of smaller screws called pixels. It's split into 3 parts that go across the screen at random speeds in an attempt to flatten Mega Man, before they then join together making a giant screw. When they form the screw, there's a red eye that shows up and shoots projectiles at you. We need to hit this red eye with a dust crusher while being on 2 maintenance platforms. I think this boss is annoying because of how it needs to be hard, waiting for a moving platform and all, but that's just me. The third station in Dr. Cossack's Road is on top of the Citadel during the day. This is also the only part in the game that has an auto-scroll segment, which is honestly really weird, since, at least to me, I don't really feel like auto-scrolls fit in with Mega Man compared to Super Mario. Don't get me wrong, this is a really welcome change of pace, but it's kind of like using a hamburger patty as a replacement for steak. Sure, they're both meat, but if you were to bring someone a steak made out of beef patties, you would be very confused by the taste, but probably still eat it since it tastes good, because at the end of the day, they're both meat. There is, of course, the cockroach turns, this level's boss fight. As you would imagine, there's 2 in this fight, but the second one doesn't show up until you defeat the first one. The first one stays in the ceiling, going back and forth, stopping every 1 to 2 seconds to attack by shooting a single projectile down from the tip of its head, or by shooting 2 diagonal shots with both of its side cannons. The first half is honestly ridiculously easy since you can just sit in place, hitting it with the Pharaoh shot, and the second half walks along the entire room in a clockwise pattern, attacking every 4 to 5 seconds. However, the first attack is bigger, and the second attack shoots 4 diagonal shots. The second half is honestly still pretty easy, but it's not that much more different from the first one. In the fourth and final stage in Dr. Cossack's Road, we are now back in the Citadel during nighttime, complete with the moon in the background.
Finally, the boss fight with Dr. Cossack. Oh, I can't wait to be done with this. Hopefully now you drop your "I'm the best skeleton" chicanery, Kyle.
Dr. Cossack is inside of the Cossack catcher, which moves from left to right and adjusts itself to be higher or lower before it moves. When it does, the side cannons on the Cossack catcher fire after 2 to 3 seconds of rating, and they shoot out 3 separate shots. They cover a 0, 45, and 90-degree angle. It slams down at lightning speed in a sometimes good, sometimes bad attempt to catch Mega Man with the bottom claw. If it does catch Mega Man, it drops Mega Man, who then takes damage and disables the ability to pause the game. However, if we slide under it, it can't catch us, and thus the Cossack catcher has its movement reset, which keeps it stationary for a second before it continues moving.
Yes! Finally, another Mega Man game in the book. Do you know how to shut up for 1 second? What do you mean look back at the screen? Oh god damn it.
Alright, so, after defeating Dr. Cossack, both him and Mega Man go back to the starting positions, until Proto Man shows up with this random girl who is, apparently, Dr. Cossack's daughter. She then proclaims, "Please Mega Man, don't! My father is not really evil! Dr. Wily took me hostage and forced my father to fight you! Please Mega Man, don't hurt my father anymore!" Dr. Cossack then pops out and says, "Oh Kalinka." She replies, "Father." Dr. Cossack then asks, "Mega Man, forgive me," before Dr. Wily shows up as the Cossack catcher gets destroyed. Dr. Wily then angrily announces, "You betrayed me, Proto Man! I'm gonna break you, Mega Man!" And thus, we are now onto the Dr. Wily road.
Well, I guess it would make sense they would try to update the Dr. Robot part of the game. Hopefully, though, Kyle, Dr. Wily doesn't do more scummy stuff, because I really want this to be a final time we defeat him. It would also be really nice to have a new antagonist to fight, not just the same tired old balding guy again and again and again.
After we forgive Dr. Cossack, because he was forced to fight us, pay attention, Dr. Wily retreats to his castle, the same castle that has no new enemies besides the various boss fights, but I need to talk about them anyways. These stages are honestly fine. They have the difficulty I expect, so it's not like I'm ripping my hair out over a medal, or two, or three? Oh my god! Wily 1 is full to the prime with medals! And Wily 2 lets us go for separate paths. I kind of feel like they bleed together with other Dr. Wily stages from the previous games. Oh well, hopefully we see some good new stuff in the sudden future. Wily 1 is full to the fucking brim with medals, oh my god. And they're everywhere. The stage is actually in the castle's inner water sanitation place, and every single variation is actually here in the stage. The Metal EX, Metal Swim, here the infamous block memorization returns. I actually managed to do the first one just fine, but on the second one, I died.
Somehow, Kyle, this feels like your fault. Fuck you.
And we're already on the boss fight. Wow, these haters don't have much to talk about. This freak is the Metal Daddy. No, I will not hear you out. It's basically a giant jumping Metal BX, and after it lands, we get frozen in place as 4 medals fall from the ceiling then walk off screen. After they all leave, the Metal Daddy then continues its pattern. The level as a whole is actually pretty easy, but the boss fight is a giant 180 in terms of difficulty. I can't ever slide under the Metal Daddy just right, and sometimes I end up getting hit by the Metal EXs. Even with using the Pharaoh shot, the boss fight is so difficult since you need to hit it like 10 times just to defeat it. The second Wily stage is us going through the main hall of the castle. This stage has the gimmick of a ton of pick-a-path gameplay. The boss fight at the end is with the taco trash, which, as you can tell, is on a higher ledge than us, so we can't reach the reach point without using these 2 platforms on the 2 rails. When you're on the platform, you can hit the small green gem on the taco trash's forehead, but it will end up doing 1 of 2 attacks. Attack 1 is a fireball that it spits out of its mouth, the fireball travels straight forward, but the second attack is an orange ball that launches from the chute on its head. The ball is lobbed in an arch towards you like this. When the ball hits the ground, it ends up exploding and using the ring boomerang. It takes 7 shots. I think this boss fight is just as difficult as the stage, and maybe a touch more difficult or easy since the ring boomerang can sometimes sneak 2 hits in. William 3 is a vertical drop with tons and tons of sweet goodness like weapon energy, E-tanks, lives, and more. At the bottom of the drop is yet another Robot Master section. Unsurprisingly, this boss rush section is basically 1-to-1 to the previous 2 games, and the only boss fights that are different are Toadman and Pharaoh Man's. And obviously, after defeating them, we get the Wily. Again. For fight. Yippee. The first phase of Wily's fight involves the Wily machine having a giant skull in it. I think that maybe Wily has a crush on Skull Man. We need to shoot the giant skull's gaping mouth. It moves up and down, shooting these large sharks back at us. Hiding under the shots is easy, so it's not difficult, but it's a bit challenging because it's a boss fight. Wily Phase 2, however, has to move left to right instead of up and down. The large shots continued endlessly. I tried to jump over the shots as best as I could with varying results. You need to hit this blue gem with the drill bomb via explosions. Phase 1 is honestly easier than Phase 2 to me, but as you can see, it wasn't impossible. It's good, difficult, but fair. And after defeating Wily, we go up and then into Wily 4. Wily 4 is in the castle's basement, where there are tons of emblems we can farm for weapon energy and the likes before going to the final fight. A lot less creepy than that one room in Mega Man 2. How this boss fight works is that we're in a pitch black room, where every now and then a large ball of energy will charge before firing at us. Right before the ball fires, the screen flashes right and we can see Dr. Wily in his capsule for a split second. Using this to our advantage, we can dodge the energy ball and hit Dr. Wily with a full Pharaoh shot. Wily and the energy ball are never going to be next to each other, but sometimes you, the player, can be insanely close to him. I love this boss fight. It's tense, difficult, and requires more skill than just shoot and dodge and jump painlessly as we need to rewind. This is probably my favorite boss fight out of the first 4 NES Mega Man games.
Finally! I hate old people! Oh, shut up. It's fine to hate somebody who's bad. Actions speak louder than words, you wannabe.
After defeating Dr. Wily for the 4th time, he gets thrown out of his capsule and lands, begging for mercy. After begging, he then goes into a wall which sets his castle to self-destruct! After we both leave the castle, it self-destructs in the snow with a skull-themed mushroom cloud.
Oh my god, he really does have a crush on Skull Man. I ship it.
We then ride home on a train, similar to the opening of the game and the Mega Man 1 ending, and also Mega Man 3 ending. At the end of the train ride, we are greeted by Roll and Rush, even though Rush was with us on this journey. Mega Man then jumps down from the train, and the screen freezes, turning sepia. Roll credits.
Well, Dr. Wily has now resorted to kidnapping and forcing somebody to fight in an attempt to take over the world. A piss poor one, might I add. Man, why was I doing this again? Oh yeah, you're still here. Well, what did you think about this, Kyle? Whoa, on to the closing thoughts.
Mega Man 4 easily dethrones Mega Man 3 as my favorite Mega Man game. It isn't even a debate. It is the first game to lie about having a new antagonist, has fun and memorable gimmicks for just about every stage. Hell, even just about every stage on the Dr. Cossack and Dr. Wily road looked presentable. To start, I really, and I mean really, like how unique the robot masters are. It doesn't really feel like any of them could go to some other random robot master. Maybe at most Brightman could be replaced with a Lightman, but Brightman has a light bulb on him. And sure, maybe Dustman could be replaced with a Crusher Man, but that name does not roll off the tongue as well as Dustman. I also really liked the enemies this time around, even though the emblems could have been replaced with Dark Ones and Skullman's stage. Besides that, the robot masters, their stages, and the enemies are all great. I also really like how this game tries to experiment with gimmicks. Toadman had rain and water slowing your jump, Cossack 3 had auto-scrolling, Ringman had the platforms that would try to make you fall to your death, Skullman, Brightman has the weird U-platform things, and there's just so many more. I just really didn't like the music. Most of it didn't feel Mega Man-y besides Skullman's, and I really didn't like fighting Ringman, but it's not like this game is stingy with its E-Tanks, especially with the addition of Eddie. I think my main problems with this game though is that Ringman sucks to fight, and the boss fights in general are starting to get a little stale. Enemy jumps from left to right doing no attacks over and over again. Pharaoh Man is also just a very unique case, since you can cheese his boss fight with the Flash Chopper, since it freezes him in place, and the fail shot you get after is just way too OP. But I know, I'm using a guide, so that means I'm worse than Satan. Even though after figuring out the boss fight, I think that the game should hold up in terms of its difficulty and game design. Another problem I had is that a couple of times there were just so many mini-bosses that it really didn't make any sense. In Mega Man 2 there were mini-bosses, yes, but it felt like they got their own section and they weren't just put in a stage at random. But even that can be considered a gimmick. You're not doing the same thing over and over, you need to stop in place and deal with this giant thing. Sure, it's a roadblock, but it's not an overly time-consuming roadblock.
And it's for all of that and more that I'm gonna give Mega Man 4 for the NES 9 out of 10 Dr. Cossacks. Enemies are sporadic, fit to theming most of the time, are plentiful but not overwhelming, robot masters are fun, refreshing, but grow a bit stale on me, and the game looks and sounds alright. If anything, Mega Man 4 is gonna more than likely be my go-to Mega Man game when I just wanna turn my brain off and push some buttons. But what about you, Kyle? You watched me play this game from start to finish because you thought you were the best skeleton. You deserve to have your thoughts heard too. Holy shit, Kyle, that... You would love Call of Duty lobbies. I don't get it, Kyle. You make fun of me for liking video games so much, but you're scarily good at Call of Duty. What's your secret? What, Kyle? Actually, no, yeah, that does make sense. You're racist!
Oh boy, I don't want to imagine how long this took me to make Controller, because now this is the most longest episode of Danspection. It's also been a while since I've done this sort of voiceover at the end thing, but it's not like every episode is gonna end up having me doing this, but I think considering the fact it's been 7, probably nearly 8 months since the last episode, it feels pretty appropriate. A fair amount of stuff has happened between then and now, in my personal life and online. I hit 100 subscribers on Danspection. Thank you all so much for getting me to that, because seeing it at 100 all this time later, it feels a little surreal still. Here's to getting to 200, or at the very least 150 by the end of the year. I also started doing shorts. I have a couple that I should be working on, but I wanted to get back to clearing my backlog of videos on this channel and my main channel, and with Daniel, before I really went back to that. And this officially means I have 3 videos left in the backlog, which is scary to think about. Since late 2023, I've had the backlog, begin, I guess. All of it dinging around, unsurprisingly, but having it be at free now, technically, because as of me recording this, it isn't officially free. When you watch it, it's going to be officially free, because this is going to be out. It just doesn't click. My brain can't comprehend that when I hit my microphone. Oh, but thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, thank you for being here. Give me enough time, maybe in a month or 2, I'll end up having a Discord server, so that way all of the people who, want to listen to me talk about video games can have a place where they'll go, and you'll have to, fight for my attention, with people from my main channel and second channel. If you've made it this far, you more than likely enjoyed the video, so, hit the subscribe button if you aren't subscribed, and comment about your favorite Mega Man for enemy or Robot Master for engagement, because that's how the YouTube algorithm works. I know it's very, very weird, but please just do it. I'm begging you. I'm on my hands and knees.